Ladies and gentlemen, the Triforce is back. This is the Planet Nintendo podcast. What's up, guys? Episode 4 of the Planet Nintendo podcast. Let me welcome in our co-host, Bobby, the Nintendo Guru. What is up, dude?
What is up, Joe? I want. You know what? I'm already messed up. I apologize. What is up, Patrick? Wow. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry for insulting you with this jabroni over here.
I'm staying out of this one. I
got one question.
What's up?
How about them Yankees? Go ahead.
Oh, God. All right. Well, it's been a good show, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And Joe after work. What is up, man?
Support your chibi art. What's going on, guys?
All right. So we have a lot to go over this episode. We got some good topics today. We're going to start it off with a little game of over or under. But before that lovely game, Bobby has something to say to the audience. Me and Bobby were live streaming a little game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and
I don't have nothing to say. What do I have to say?
I don't know. I think I won or something.
I don't think you won. I think you can go back and look at the stream. Man. Clearly shows that you cheated.
Okay.
Because the stream is coming from my perspective, and you'll watch Patrick's cart just blinking, and so I think he was either fire hopping or something.
Lag switching.
Yeah, it was something was going on, man. He totally cheated, man.
Oh man.
The thing that was going on was I was going past you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I thought I'd get that out.
Did the Red Sox continue in the playoffs, or they got shut out? Right? They got shut down.
So yeah, going to the first.
I'm just asking.
You know what? We're all winners. We're all winners.
No, we're not all winners. No. We are not all winners. I specifically remember a couple episodes ago when I said I can give you 27 reasons why the Yankees are better, and you were just really condescending and rude about the whole situation.
Oh, he's laying it in.
I mean, they I will admit they showed up. Impressive series.
They
took it to game 5.
Showed up. Really? You call that showing up?
We'll see. We fired our manager, so that's always good. But
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works. Although I gotta say, Joe Girardi almost got fired this week too. If he would have, if they wouldn't have slipped through, he'd have been in big trouble.
Yeah, he would have been gone.
Yeah, but anyway, go ahead.
Sports. All right, so it is Wonderful Thursday, and that means a bunch of indie games came out. Did you guys pick up any of those at all, Joe?
Okay,
Mr. Indie?
Yeah, Mr. And he's got another 80 games he downloaded.
Another 80 million to scroll down the list. Tiny Barbarian DX. I had to support. Nicalis hooked me up with a review copy, so I went out and bought it today. Awesome game. Hard, but awesome. I saw your review, Patrick. I was just reading it before we all caught up on here. I like it. I like your review, dude, of the game. It is really well worded.
Yeah, that was actually my first written review, so
you can
pretty cool.
Wait, you can rate?
I can.
You're
I know a couple words.
You're hooked on
phonics? Dude, I gotta say though, this isn't gonna last long. This is gonna be like a 20-minute show.
Oh man.
Nicalis? Is it Nicalis or Nicholas?
Nicholas.
Dude,
apparently he's not hooked on phonics. Go ahead.
Their physical releases.
I still have some learning to do.
Yeah. Their physical releases though are incredible.
They're amazing. They really are. They are. I love the fact that they come with the instruction booklet and all that. Now, little tidbit that I just found this out today or yesterday. The instruction booklet and stuff is laid on the developer, whether the developer wants to do it or not. It has nothing to do with Nicholas. So Limited Run also does games. And those are just limited run. They never hit the stores. You have to buy them through Limited Run. And sometimes they come with instruction booklets. And when they do, that's because the developer puts them in and such. So, yeah. I'll leave it there with that. There's some, maybe. We'll see. Anyway.
I like that. It's like the old school Game Boy instruction booklet too. I was like, wow, that's a throwback right there.
Yeah, man.
Cool little pin too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they gave me a review copy too, so I have to still pick up that physical, and I want to get Cave Story. I missed that one for some reason. I think I got playing Zelda.
I gotta get a Tiny Barbarian. I did buy It'll Do too. I pre-ordered it. When that comes, I'll get that one because that game is awesome. I gotta ask you a question. This dumb elephant game.
Yeah.
Can I not use my Pro Controller?
Yeah, so that is interesting. So I was looking it up. I turned it on. I thought my Pro Controller was dead.
Yeah.
I guess someone contacted the developer, and it's a bug that they can't fix right now. It's really weird. It's really
stupid.
Weird.
It's dumb.
I
was playing, and I kept hitting my Pro Controller. I'm like, I thought it was desyncing the Pro Controller. And I'm like pushing. I'm like, I can't get the gun. I'm like, what the hell? I look down, and the green lights are missing. And I'm like, okay. And I like come out, and I resync the Pro Controller, and I go back in, and it's like, and I'm like, so next thing I know, I pull my Joy-Cons off, and I'm like, I don't want to play this way, but I will. Yeah. I'll try it.
It's fun as hell so far. We're talking, of course, about Yono, the celestial elephant.
Whatever. Yeah. Why you got names like that?
Super fun. It's like Ocean Horn, but good. So.
Oh wow!
I love that dig. I love that dig. That is perfect because I feel the same way about Ocean Horn. It is not good. Not good.
I don't know, man. I don't. Hey,
it looks
first of
better
all,
than
we're already one of the most controversial, according to YouTube and everyone else.
Oh, we're getting.
It's like,
be ready.
I'll say this.
We're getting stomped at some point tonight. I know that.
Yeah, we are. Of course, like I look at like how our videos do in terms of views and stuff like that, and all of our videos are demonetized, which isn't a big deal because like this isn't like any of our like full-time gigs, but like I feel like we don't really talk about controversial stuff on here, but they're all demonetized.
Why are they demonetized?
I don't know.
They got yellow?
Most of them are yellow. Like, dude, we were talking about is Peach in love with Bowser? That's demonetized.
You know what, man? YouTube is really.
I think it's me. It's all right. I think clear the air now. It's me.
I think it's YouTube, and they're just really seriously turning into hot trash, man. It's bad. Like it is ridiculous. My wife did a DIY video on actually a Halloween wreath, and they demonetized it. Like what?
So random.
Commonwealth Realm just did one. The history of 3D Mario games, and they got demonetized. There's something to do. Now, can you fight that or no?
So you can only fight it if it goes over 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Oh, they're being scumbags, man.
Review, but
they're being scumbags.
Because there's so many videos is their excuse.
Oh, they are such trash.
I don't know.
Seriously.
All my Dementium videos are starting to get the new ones, but the old ones are fine. I don't get it.
It's so stupid. It really
I know. I told Joe today, I was like, dude, I think it's random at this point.
Yeah.
Like, there's no pattern to it at all. And like, I mean, we sometimes cross the line and we're like, overrated Nintendo games. I can get that.
No, we can't get that. Crap. It's not doing anything wrong. Like, seriously, man. You know what?
We're just talking.
I'm reaching.
Let's go to Facebook. Let's go to Twitch. Let's go someplace better.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Come on over, guys.
The other one I wanted to ask you guys about, if you guys touched, was this other one. Oh my God, Fire or something.
World of no.
No, I just downloaded it a little bit ago.
Here.
Let me see.
It's that survival game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I heard good things about that.
The Flame and the Flood.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, so I watched the trailer, right? And I was like, looks cool. I love the art style. And I was like, I think I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna give it a whirl. See what it is. It looks pretty cool, man. Like you're building like traps and weapons. There's these wolves coming after you and bears and stuff, and like it's kind of cool. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then there was another. I didn't get it. The only one I got today was Yono, but there's like a hack and slash like Viking game.
Yeah, I picked
that up. Yeah,
that looks pretty good.
What do you?
Beat 'em ups are right up my alley.
What do you do for a living, bro? I want to know because I prefer to be the one on the podcast that buys all the games and people are jealous of me. I don't like being in this jealousy role, dude. You buy everything.
This is a whole nother level over here.
I know, man.
I have an addiction. I'm sorry.
Addiction ain't the word for it, man.
No, but as soon as I had heard about that game, I was like, beat 'em up. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm sold, and I like the art style too, so that helps. But I'm
I
gonna
think
try it out tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that. I think right now, what is it? I don't even know what date it is. I think I'm good until Odyssey at this point. I have a lot of games that I need to get to, and I kind of want to replay some other ones. So, but yeah, Odyssey. Next week's episode probably be a lot about Odyssey.
Oh my god,
it's gonna be
dude. Is that out next week?
No love for Fire Emblem Warriors. Just
Who cares about Fire Emblem Warriors? Forget that game.
I mean, by the time we
record
next
good games.
week, it'll be out by then.
Will it be out by then?
Yeah.
27th. That's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So
so by the time people listen, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into everyone's favorite game, at least mine anyway. It's Over Under. We played this couple episodes ago. 5 questions, 5 percentages. Kind of rapid fire. We'll go around, kind of make your case for if you think I'm insane or you think these are reasonable. So let's get to the first one. I am going to go to Joe first. 50% chance Super Mario Odyssey gets a higher Metacritic score than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's at 97.
Oh. Man.
That is tough. Man, is there any way it could tie? Jeez. Those two are going to be the 2 games, Switch-wise, that are going to battle for, like, Game of the Year, I feel like. Even though Mario Odyssey hasn't come out yet and there's nothing to really write home about just yet, even though there's already a 10 out of 10 review that's gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say over. Yeah, I'm gonna say over. Very unsure, but I'm gonna say over.
So,
Bobby, 97.
So the highest Metacritic score ever is Ocarina, right? At 98?
I believe
Is that
so.
correct? I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to say that Odyssey scores higher than Ocarina.
Ooh,
Wow.
I think Odyssey becomes potentially the highest rated game of all time. That
is a huge claim.
That's a huge claim.
Damn.
I you know what, man? The early reviews, the early talks, everybody is loving this game. Like, as much as people loved Breath of the Wild, there was still those grumblings in the previews of, like, the drop frame rates. You always heard, like, it was good, but I haven't heard that with this game at all. Like, I've never heard anybody go, this is a lot of fun, but this. So I gotta say that I really think this could potentially be the one that, like, breaks out and does it.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be neutral. I'm gonna say they both get the same score. I don't even want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that.
That was gonna be my first one. I didn't think I could choose that.
Hey, I'm the host. I can do whatever the hell. Okay. Bobby, 25% chance that Cuphead will head to the Switch.
0% chance that happens.
0.
That is not happening at all. Never.
Even with all the crossplay?
Nah, never gonna happen. Microsoft exclusive. It's staying at Microsoft. They are not giving that thing up. At a time when they don't have exclusives, they cannot afford to give that game up. Like, that'd be the dumbest thing they ever do. Because right now, it's the first game that I've seen on the Xbox One that people are like, I need to get an Xbox One. That people are like, I want this. I'm glad.
Insane.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't see them giving that up. That would be the dumbest move ever by Xbox. I don't see them doing that.
Joe?
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys just to reassure, but I was almost positive that it was a Microsoft exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say no also on that, especially the amount of time that team spent on that game and then going back and
they spent a lot of money to. They got to recoup that money. I can't.
Yeah, they
unless that game
broke
flopped,
the bank on that one.
Yeah, if that game flopped, which I don't believe it is, I think everybody's buying it that owns an Xbox One. If that game flopped, then I would say maybe you would see that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say under as well. We're still missing games like Ukulele and stuff like that. Those are still. I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Joe.
Statue's adorable, by the way. The ukulele.
What's that?
The ukulele, that statue is adorable.
Oh my god, yes.
Just want to pet it.
Joe, big Metroid fan over there. 30% chance we see additional content for Metroid Prime 4, whether it's like DLC or something like that.
Oh, kind of want to say no on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna say under, but with the caveat that I wouldn't be surprised if they do mention something down the road. I mean, we're seeing it with Breath of the Wild. They have to do something wildly different with this Metroid Prime if they're gonna, really invest in it. They can't just pull the same thing that, they gave us 10, 15 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under for now. Yeah.
Okay, Bobby.
So repeat the question because I'm not sure I heard it correctly.
30% chance we see additional content for Metroid Prime 4, whether it's a DLC or just like updates. I don't know, Joe. I didn't tell you that part, but like additional,
like a story or like adding
something
multiplayer kind of.
Honestly, I think it's hard to gauge because it really depends on how it moves, how it sells. I don't think it's like a Zelda where before it even launches they announce there's going to be a DLC. I think it's one of those things like if it sells through the roof, which is the only way I see them investing more time in this, that would be the only way. I can't see them really. I look at it this way. I think at E3 this year, they're going to flip the booth to be Metroid themed. I think this is that Metroid's year to like really take over. We saw Zelda, then Mario.
Getting me excited.
I think this year's going to be Metroid because I think that they have to do something to sell this game and to move this game. Samus Returns did not move at all. So I think that makes them a little nervous and they really need to pump it up and do something. You know what I mean? So I think that we will not see any DLC at all. The only way we do is if this game sells like gangbusters, and I really don't think it will.
Yeah.
I'm going to say over on that. I think they do something. I actually do have a bet right now with Joe Critic that Samus Returns will sell less than 1 million copies. He thinks it'll sell more. I think I'm winning that bet.
Oh, you're crushing that bet.
You're gonna, sadly, begrudgingly.
Although he could just be like 30 years from now, like, hey man, it's still selling.
True. All right, Bobby, 10% chance we see F-Zero on the Switch.
Ooh, at some point, I would say it's 100% chance. I think at some point it definitely comes. So I would say over. Because, I mean, it's got to come eventually. You know what I mean? I mean, we got Virtual Console.
Okay, we're going with that now, Joe.
I know what you meant, though. I know you meant a new game, not that.
Yeah, I gotta go over on that one. At some point, Nintendo's got to show us their moves.
I'm surprised they didn't tap into Fast Racing RMX and get them guys to build, or just skin their game into it.
It's the announcer. It's the same announcer.
Same announcer, and they have the feel and the vibe of it. I hate that game. I really do. I can't race with that game. I'm so bad.
It took me a while to get used to the controls, but I don't know. Just something still not clicking there for me. But it's not a terrible game. It's a good game.
And the last one, we're gonna go with Joe. 65% chance we see that mysterious Zelda DLC this year, the last part of it.
I'm getting very pessimistic about this. They announced the amiibos during the Direct and sort of went off and, said, hey, here's what's coming out the rest of this year and part of next year, what we're looking ahead at, and no mention of this DLC. I'm going under that it's showing up this year, and I'm okay with that. I'm not upset. There's too much stuff coming out.
True. Bobby?
It's fine.
So I have all of the amiibo pre-ordered, right? I got a update from Best Buy that the date of release is November 10th of the amiibo.
Yeah.
I would think that the amiibo are going to coincide with the DLC. It would only make sense, or be very close in dates. You know what I mean? Like maybe the amiibo come out on Friday and the game and the DLC launches Thursday, but I really can't see them being that far off. But the other problem for me is why Nintendo? Like, just push this away. Get this in January. No, I don't think anybody's screaming right now that they have to have this Zelda DLC.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy for them to push this to January and clear the floor a little bit. You're basically, if that is true, if November 10th is the date, right? You're looking at what is it, 2 weeks after Odyssey? Do you really want to give your game a 2-week thrust and then basically, because honestly, that's what killed ARMS in my mind. ARMS had 2 weeks, and then boom, here comes the Zelda DLC, and then here comes Splatoon 2. I think and don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing ARMS to Odyssey at all. I think Odyssey has more staying power, but I just think you want to kind of get away. But to answer your question properly, I think we do see it this year.
Ooh, yeah. Tough. I think so too. I'm with you though. It doesn't really make sense. I wouldn't mind if it was pushed to like February. I mean, I have a ton of games coming out. Xenoblade 2 alone is gonna be like 80 hours.
Dude, there are so many good games coming, dude.
And they usually tend to clear the way for Pokemon. They usually keep all their stuff out of the way for Pokemon. Like, that's like, hey, we're coming November 17th. Like, that's our spot.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be a little weird.
But yeah, they did announce that, and I was expecting them to say, like, here's when the DLC is coming out. It's coinciding with these amiibos at this date. I think something happened, and they're going back and trying to fix it. I mean, they started this DLC, both of them, right after the game finished. So did they even have a story ready to go? Like, how far along were they, if at all?
And they announced the first part in like a direct, right? That's how they did it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we get a direct this year showing it off. I don't know.
I think we definitely get another direct. There's no doubt. I think they're going to kind of go a direct every 3 months, give or take. So I think we'll get one right around holiday time because they're going to want to give what they've been doing, which I like with the directs, is they've been just showing like that upcoming few months. Like, we got the one in the summer that was showing what was coming in the fall. And then I'm sure we'll get hit with an indies again, followed up by a direct. And I'm fine with that. Like, let it happen, man. Let it flow. Like,
definitely.
We got enough.
All right, guys. So we're going to go into the first topic, and it's going to be my topic this week. Let's talk a little bit about ARMS. I feel like it's a forgotten game. I know it's one of Bobby's favorite games out there.
No, you got that sorely mistaken. It's Overcooked.
There.
Oh man.
Anyway,
both games.
So I looked up the sales of ARMS. I was just a little curious on it. So as of August, it's at the 0.88 million mark, which is pretty impressive for a brand new game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, say it again. How many?
0.88 million. So it might be at a million already.
You go something.
That's by August.
No, did it sell like 1 million?
I thought it sold 1 million already.
Yeah,
I think
you might be numbers that I saw.
That might be like
that might be the month
sold in addition. That'd be crazy if that's the case.
That might just be the month.
Whoa, that's insane.
Look at Joe. Do some work.
Yeah, I am.
I saw like as of August. As of August, it was almost at 1 million. I don't know.
He's not hooked on phonics or numbers apparently. Did the count skip? Did Sesame Street not happen in up there?
It's Rhode Island's tough.
Yeah. The mean streets of Rhode Island. We didn't learn no math.
The hard streets of Providence over here. No joke. So the reason why I bring this up, I wanted to know if we see another ARMS. I know I'm kind of shooting the gun a little bit or jumping the gun a little bit, but they recently announced another update to ARMS. The new patch adds a new stage. It adds badges that act like achievements, and a new Springman who is like a robot Springman. I don't know. They've released a little trickling of updates for this game. I wanted to know from you guys, do you think we'll see another ARMS 2? Nintendo seems like they're pushing it a little bit. But this is probably like, I don't know, 2 years into the future, 2 or 3 years. So I'll start with Bobby here. What do you think, Ben?
I feel like I feel like they're willing this franchise, this IP, to be successful. I think that they're off a little bit in terms of like what is happening and what they are projecting is happening. I don't think this game is moving as popular or is not as popular as Nintendo wants people to believe it is. I think it hit at the perfect time where there was really nothing out there and everybody bought it. My problem with the game was this: when I played in those global test punches, I played with like Sean Capri and Dave Moore and a few of us, and we were on Skype together. And so I literally had like my camera on and I'm playing and there's my TV and we're all laughing and joking and having a good time. I think if Nintendo really wants this to work, they need to get the voice chat fixed and working properly. Yeah. They need to open it up to be like a party situation where everybody that's in that room, like when you bounce off to do your matches, you can kind of like, if you want to have that or whatever, but they need to have the voice chat going. Get everybody interactive, everybody talking and stuff, and then make it more inviting. And then the other thing is man, I don't know. Here's the thing: the one thing I could say that I love about ARMS is the online play. I love that you're in that lobby and you're kind of like me and Patrick can fight and Joe's fighting somebody else, and then all of a sudden it breaks off after my and Patrick's match. Will wait, and then when Joe gets done, it like reshuffles everybody. Like, that's ingenious how they do it. Yeah. I love it, man. But I just don't know that this game. I feel like it's going to get a sequel because the numbers, but I feel like the numbers are skewed. I feel like this game doesn't deserve a sequel. I'm torn. You know what I mean? Like, I think it will, because that's just Nintendo's looking at numbers and going, hey, this game sold a lot. And I have a feeling they're not going to really look at the time frame and go, well, there was nothing on Switch. What they need to look at is the drop-off of players. Look at the early part when you had them high numbers, and then what's the drop-off. And I could be wrong. There could be a huge community that's playing this that I don't know about. But that's my feeling.
Joe?
Yeah. Just to go back real quick, 1.18 million in the first 2 weeks of launch. That is disgusting.
That's a lot when you consider what the Switch has only had like 2 million units out in the market. Then that's a lot.
Does it say the numbers like total?
This was from the IGN article back in July when the MPD numbers were coming out.
That's insane.
This was the first 2 weeks that it launched up until June 30th. Yeah, that is insane. And then I saw something saying that it was still selling like 100,000 copies. One of the most recent weeks, but that site wasn't really like it wasn't been what you were reliable,
at, Patrick,
but it could
be
be
the numbers for the quarter.
Oh yeah, might have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back, the short answer, I think there will be an ARMS 2 for sure. I think the community jumped from one game to the next, that being Splatoon 2 was the next thing. So I'm pretty sure that community that was waiting for that game was playing ARMS in the meantime, jumped over it, and then is still playing Splatoon. Splatoon, when you hear about updates about new weapons and stuff like that, people get really excited about that stuff because, of the previous game and what they experienced there. With ARMS, I feel like, we're still in that beginning phase of that game and people getting used to it. That game's announced for EVO 2018 Tokyo next year. So it could be a situation where, Smash Brothers Melee, when that got first, that won the fan vote to get in. Granted, this wasn't a fan vote. Like, that got people turned on. It was like, oh crap, Smash is like a real fighting game. Oh, everyone's going crazy. And I think it's on Nintendo now to keep promoting these esport type games and create tournaments for this stuff. Not just Nintendo World Championships. Do monthly events. Do like what Capcom's doing, Capcom World Tour. Do like a Nintendo World Tour. Get these games out there and give people a reason to be competitive about them. That's going to get people invested in these things. And they're not doing that right now. So And if unless they're going to keep backing it up in more than just, hey, here's an update here and there, it's going to sit in the back burner and just kind of, yeah, they made their numbers now, but we'll see what happens when Arms 2 eventually comes out, for sure. I think there will be a sequel.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think that the numbers are definitely inflated a little bit. I can remember when that game first came out, and I was just wanting to play it so bad, and it was because like we didn't have any games. There wasn't even a lot of indie games out. So Arms, like everyone picked that up. There was a few. What I can say about Arms, every time I play it, I do enjoy it. But at the same time, I'm always like, what the hell is missing? Like, it seems like a very incomplete game. And these updates that are coming in, they're not just adding characters, they're not just adding stages, but they're adding modes. I don't know. It just seems like a very, very empty game when it boils down to it.
They just added like button configurations recently, right?
Yeah.
In one of the updates.
It's like dude, that should have been there.
Should have been
one.
there, yeah.
The headlock mode, which I like a lot.
Love headlock.
Yeah, it's so fun. I think it's one of the best multiplayer experiences on the Switch. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a second one. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah. Next topic. Let's go to Mr. Joe over here.
Oh, snap.
Mr. Indie himself. What's up, man?
Oh, my God. No, I do not deserve that title there.
No, really?
So,
really?
100 games don't
Yeah.
prove that? Or
Yeah, no.
oh, my God.
Everybody's over there sitting there like, there's nothing to play. Joe's like, I can't pick what to play.
What do you mean?
This isn't really a podcast. Me and Bobby are here to help you out because like you got a problem.
Your girlfriend
This has
messages.
actually all been one long intervention.
Yeah, your girlfriend messages is like, could you please help Joe? Because God bless.
I'm about to throw this ring out. Like,
yeah. She's like,
You got her.
Oh my goodness. But yes, we talked a little bit about music last week, favorite video game music. This one I wanted to kind of, delve into indie games and what your guys' favorite indie games were. Patrick, start off with you.
All right, and you said 3, right?
Three,
That's from the
three
Switch?
favorite
Okay.
indie games, yeah.
All right, so I'll start. We'll go around.
and you said it had to be on the Switch.
Yeah, it has to be already released on the Switch.
Yeah.
Not like an exclusive or anything, but like not It'll Do 2 or something that hasn't released yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna start out with the king of the indies. I think I still love this game. I own it on like 3 other consoles. Shovel Knight.
Oof.
Shovel Knight. One of my favorite games now, like of all time. Like it's so damn good, and they've released all these additional Spectre or whatever. King Knight is coming up. Dude, it's just such a good game. The visuals, the music, like such a good game. Shovel Knight. That's my first pick.
We're gonna do one. Okay.
We'll go. Yeah.
I listen. The best game on the Switch that's not a AAA, SteamWorld Dig 2. There is no doubt about it. That game is the best thing going right now. Like it looks amazing, plays so good. The music is inviting and amazing. It's just, dude, they knocked it out the park with that one. So for me, that's the be all end all on the Switch in terms of like indie games.
It's really good.
Yeah, and just to make it clear to people watching this, like this isn't like top 3 list that you have to buy. Like these are our personal favorite games that we played so far.
Yeah.
For me, I've mentioned this time and time again between my channel and on here. And I didn't want to make my entire list indie creates, so I only picked one, Mighty Gun Volt Burst. One of my favorite indie games on the Switch. So good. You want to talk about old school music, retro 8-bit style music. It's got that Mega Man vibes all over the place. The fact that Inti was able to get permission from Concept to use Beck from Mighty Number 9 for free. Like they're like, yeah, use them. And
they weren't going to use them anytime soon.
I don't think that was that hard.
Yeah. And they used them proper. Like this was great. The customization with the weapons, the bosses.
Hey guys, can we show you how this should have been done? They're like, please help us.
But that's what's funny. Inti Creates developed Mighty Number 9. They co-developed that game. So I don't know what went wrong.
It's crazy. My second one is going to be a pretty recent game. I am completely in love with this game, Golf Story.
Ooh.
So damn good. And I'm so glad it's mostly a golf game. I mean, I like the RPG side quest elements of it, but dude, the controls were even really good. The physics make sense, which is a big thing for me. I don't want like wonky physics. Really, really good game. I'm actually not even done yet. I put in about 8 hours and I feel like I'm halfway. So it's insane. Golf Story. So good.
Man. I'm looking at my Switch. That's why I keep looking over to the left, because I have it all up in front of me. I gotta go Stardew Valley, man. That game really, really got its hooks in me, man. I started playing it, and it was just driving me bonkers. I felt like I was missing something. I couldn't figure out what I was missing. And then I was like, you know what? Let me go watch a, you need to know video, like the first 20 things. So I watched this video where the guy talked about like the top 22 things you need to know when you start this game. So I started watching. I'm like, oh man, I totally screwed my town up. So I restarted, and then I actually streamed it, and I started from scratch streaming, and I had a bunch of people show up, and they were talking to me the whole time and giving me tips and advice, and they got me moving in the right direction now. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Nice.
And I'm really enjoying it now. So definitely got to go Stardew Valley number 2.
Nice. Yeah, that game made a believer out of me. I was like, oh, this is more than just like a survival type game, because I don't do well in those games. Just like, oh great, there's nothing else going on here. Like I like the beginning with the story and like how the dude just quits and leaves. But then there's actual story to the game and everything, and like the relationships between you and the new town that you're in, and getting to learn who everyone is. That I was like, oh wow, okay, I see why everyone is hooked on this game.
That game's dangerous though.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from now, but I need to go back to that game at some point. Definitely. I was looking at like how long to beat. It's like 50 hours plus on average.
Crazy.
To just like finish the story stuff, and of course there's like more extra stuff. Anyway, number 2 for me is actually Bold Boy. I don't know if either of you guys played this. It's a puzzle game in
like
sort
a
of
point
like
and click?
Yes, it's like in that style, in that vein, but you still just move the character around and trying to figure out puzzles along the way. There's like it's got like sort of that grim look, like everything's in darkness, and you got to go around trying to save everyone. I think it's very weird, and there's a lot of twisted things that happen throughout the game. I spent about like 45 minutes towards the final boss because I just kept making silly mistakes, but they were my own. And it's a really short game. I think I beat it in like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah. And I think I got all the collectibles within that first run through too. I might have missed like a thing or two, but it was an interesting game. It came out early in Switch's life cycle, like right going into the summer, I want to say.
Nice. My final one, I gotta mention one before I go to the other. Just wanted to quickly mention Goner. Goner, super fun game.
Yes.
Awesome art style. It's pretty challenging too. But my third one is going to be actually the first indie I bought on the Switch, and that's, you guys were trashing it, but Fast RMX. I love that damn game, man. It's like classic arcade, closest thing we're ever going to get to a pod racing game meets F-Zero. I love the switching color mechanic. I was actually playing it today. It's really freaking hard, man, but I love it. I love the pace of it. It's like the fastest game ever. Fast RMX.
Extreme G days.
It's like another fast thing that's trash, Sonic. But anyway, I digress.
Man,
There go my subscribers. There you go.
Man, my heart was kind of.
Man, I'm torn on this last one. I have like, my mind is like, do I go Shovel Knight? Do I go Blaster Master? Do I go Overcooked? And I want to go Overcooked because of this. As much as I like hate the game, I still come back because like the streams that I've been doing with my wife. It's like we get a couple hours a week where, ever since I started YouTubing, like a lot of my time is down here in my command center, whatever, recording or doing stuff, doing podcasts, streaming and all that stuff. So this was a way to kind of bring her in and get her more involved and stuff. And it's actually worked out to be really good. Like we've had some fun streaming it and me yelling and stuff. So it's been interesting to say the least. And come to find out, we're actually funny together when we play.
Dude, you're hysterical.
Because I'm yelling like an idiot, and she's just like, that's the dynamic of our relationship. Me yelling like a moron, and her just laughing at me like, whatever, dude. Like, shut up, like, please. So, but it's I would have to say Overcooked. And here's the thing, like, as much as it drives me crazy, I feel like that game excels if you had 4 people playing it. Yeah. The less people you have playing, it's very hard to play. Like, really super hard. So with us playing with 2 people, like, I'm looking and going like, man, if we had just even a third person, it would be so nice if that game was like online multiplayer. It really would. With voice
Especially
chat.
when you do the verses and like you just have that one player just standing there and you have to switch to him.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'd be nice. It would really be nice to have 2 other people that we could play with and just be like, hey, let's do this. You know what I mean? It'd be a lot of fun. But that aside, like, if you are looking for a fun multiplayer game that you're going to yell and scream and just laugh because of stupid things like the entire kitchen catching on fire, that's
I'm going to actually, for all of you that are watching the video version, I'm going to link that compilation in the description. Oh my God.
It was kind of funny, man. I'm just like, just let it burn. I don't care. Just let it burn.
Onions.
I need onions. Chop some onions. Go over there. Chop them. Why is the meat taking so long?
It was only, that was
Not
the
on the
best.
oven.
That was the dumbest moment of my life, man, right there.
And it was funny. I was listening to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to go back because I was like, wait, did he say why is the meat taking? Like, that's what caught me. So I started going back. I was like, oh, he didn't cook. Oh no, how long is this gonna take? And I just start sitting there and I start watching it. I'm like, okay, no, I have to start over. I have to watch this all over. I am clipping things. That's what started.
That's what started it, because
right
Joe started, like, if you go into my video and you look at the comments, you see Joe, like, taking his favorite bits, and I was like, wow, this was actually kind of funny, and it made me go, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it. So I went back and I pulled all the clips that Joe said, but then I found ones in between. I was like, oh, this is great too.
So good. So good.
I'll definitely link that.
The noises.
What just happened? And you see the platform changing and knock him off, and he just drops the controller. Oh my God, it was priceless.
It was good. Anyway, Joe, what's your final game?
Numero
My
tres.
final game is I don't know if anyone knows this one. Kamiko came out really early.
Yeah,
Oh
I bought this because
yes.
of Patrick.
Yes.
So
It's
good, dude.
So good. So good.
It's only like
I think
$5,
it's like
man.
$5 or something like that. Yeah, the music is great.
Mhm.
It's top-down 8-bit, sort of like straight out of Legend of Zelda almost.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more pixel arty, puzzle-based action. Like, you can't ask for more than that. And the bosses challenge you too.
Yeah.
And you can replay it with 3 different characters. It's awesome. Dude.
Yeah.
Different play styles too. It's not
stuff.
just like a reskin of every character.
I mean, I don't play my Switch a lot in handheld mode, but that game is like perfect for it.
Dude,
I
so
love that
good.
game.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, so last topic of the night, Mr. Bobby, what do you got for us, man?
So, this comes from basically, like, the last time we saw a 2D side-scrolling Mario was Mario Maker. And I feel like one thing that Nintendo does is innovates. And I wonder, and I'm curious what you guys think, what would be the next thing to come back to in terms of art style for the next, like, do they go back to the new Super Mario skin, or do they change it up and go someplace new? So, I don't know. Patrick, we'll start with you. What's...
So I'm actually a giant fan of 2D Mario. I would say I like the 2D Mario games a little bit better than the 3D, if I'm being completely honest.
Mhm.
The new Super Mario Bros. U was phenomenal because it was in HD, They of course they always add in some little powers, but that was pretty much it. It kind of got stale for me a little bit from the Super Mario Bros. Wii. Nothing really changed except graphics and what I said before. But I don't know. I think that they need to do something completely different, and it seems like Nintendo is not really afraid of doing that with their franchises at the moment. Maybe they do something like Mario Maker where you can change styles, like you can play like a 8-bit Mario, or like I don't know. I also thought of I noticed with games like Flipping Death and Yoshi that they're kind of using the mechanic where the entire world switches. I think that would be a pretty cool thing. You could play the world twice and kind of experience different things. But yeah, I think that they have to do something because they've been underwhelming. They're fun to play. I love when they go out of the box and do things like that weird painted art style. Those are my favorite parts of the games. But yeah, I don't know. They got to switch it up a little bit.
The Wii U was extremely hard.
Yeah.
Like, the Wii version was like, oh, okay, I got this. The Wii U was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
This game is insane. But, Joe, what do you got?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm probably going to take up a lot of time here on this one, but I'll try to be quick with it. Yeah. It seems like we had hit that point last generation where there was just like platform after platform after like the success of the first Super Mario Brothers on Wii, and then that kind of got transferred over, and then they kept giving us more and more of the same thing.
Yeah,
I felt like that's where everyone was okay. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw 3 wild out there things. So take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I agree with Patrick. 2D Super Mario, all the way, 100%. I would love if they had made a 16-bit, go back to like Super Mario World. Give us like a Super Mario World 2 or something like that. Another really, really wild thing, just reading my notes here because I had to write this down, was if Nintendo had done something with, like, how the save states in Super Mario Maker are like basically like 1, 2, 3, 4 worlds, world 2, world 3.
Yep.
If they did like some sort of contest to have people create a true Super Mario game based on whichever generation of Mario there, have all the games in the states, like give them a guideline of here's how we would want to create an ideal Mario game, have people vote on the games, like play them through and everything, and then the one that wins becomes like a port over to Switch or something like that for like $15 or something.
That'd be cool.
Granted, not everyone that owns a Switch has a Wii U, so I think that would be kind of cool. But then you get into the whole semantics of like, oh, well, it's free on Super Mario Maker. Why don't just play it there? But just a thought there. The other thing was we mentioned 16-bit Mario. The last one was Nintendo. Oh yeah, there's a blah blah blah. I'm going backwards now. Mario Odyssey. So the whole Link Between Worlds thing that they're doing with the going into the pipe and being 2D Mario there's something more to that. That is a great mechanic. When I played that at E3, I was like, oh, like I had a little moment, and it was fun. I was like, oh man, like we're going back to NES era right now. It was cool. I think you could do something like that, even if it's on a 3DS, if it's on a Switch. Like, give me more of that in a Mario game, in a 2D Mario game. I think that could really work out well.
The one that sticks out to me, and I have mentioned it in the past, I want Clay. I love what they did with Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. And I feel like if they built a Mario world out of Clay, it would be a home run. Like, sign me up. That would be my dream, honestly. I think it just harkens back to looking at that cover in Nintendo Power, issue number 1, with Mario and Clay. And I think that's kind of what it has been. So when I saw them do that with Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, I was just like, man, this could be something really phenomenal. Kirby is typically the guinea pig. The they give Kirby all the new mechanics to try out and see how people like. You look at Yarn, and now it's Yoshi's thing. You know what I mean? And so I like that, and I like that aspect. I would love to see them like go okay, because that was the only downfall I had about that game was it looked gorgeous, but I had to stare at that stupid gamepad in order to play it. And I was like, that game looks so phenomenal. I just want to use a pro controller on it. So if you could actually build, an HD clay world of Super Mario and then be side scrolling, like it could be 2.5D. It doesn't have to be perfectly, you know what I mean? Man, I would love that. Like seriously love that. So that would be mine.
I gotta ask you guys, how'd you feel about 3D World?
I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah.
I felt like 3D World was okay. So here's why I think 3D World got a little bit of hate. One, it was, the 3DS was floundering, right? And then what Nintendo does is to bring it back, they launch all these great games, 3D Land and Donkey Kong Country and Animal Crossing and all these different games. And then all of a sudden, the Wii U that was struggling started to like grab the same games and throw them on the Wii U. We got Tropical Freeze, we got 3D World, and it was like, but I also feel like it was that mixed with the factor that people wanted Galaxy, and this was not Galaxy. Yeah. I personally liked the fact of like it was kind of like the world, the map was kind of like a top down, but you could run wherever you wanted to run, and the game was like, I just loved it, man. I really did. I loved it. The upper world.
That was a fun game.
That was so, man. That game is hard, man.
Yeah. Hard. Once you get into the when you beat the game and you get into the star
world,
levels,
oh my god, that game is so hard. But it is so fun, man. The cat mechanic, really cool, man. Love the climbing up the walls.
Yeah, I just mentioned that because it was kind of.
What?
I just mentioned that because it was kind of a weird 2D 3D hybrid thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that game. I mean, everyone was expecting the next 3D. So that game kind of got a little bit of flack, but I've always enjoyed that game.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Thought it was good.
All right, guys. We're about to wrap up episode 4. You guys got anything else to add on there?
The Yankees are the best. That's what we're going to add. They're winning the World Championship this year. Number 28 is going down.
Oh, man. Wow.
Then I'll give you 28 reasons why the Yankees are better.
Keep demonetizing our videos.
Joe, what about you, man?
Oh, that was it. I love you guys.
Yeah, man. We're starting to click. We got some controversial
I want to say this to
responses
to the viewers and such and the listeners and all that. Like, for me personally, I know that I can kind of get off on tangents, and that's just kind of my way. But I want to let everybody know, like, my way is not, like, I don't believe that I am the be all end all know all. I'm wrong a lot more than I'm right, and I get that, and I totally get that. And if you disagree with me and you put it in the comments, I will comment back. But I'm not mad. I don't hate or anything like that. Like, we can have straight up conversations. And I think JD is a prime example of that. Like, he'll disagree with me all the time, but it's not a hateful disagreement. You know what I mean? Like, I admire his comments because he comes at me with a classy, peaceful, just typing his side of things. And I just want to say that, like, I know that I can get off on tangents, and I know that I can be a little rambunctious with my words and a little rough shot sometimes, especially last week with my rant. I think I totally took that whole topic into a direction that probably shouldn't have gone. But, that said, like, it doesn't come from a hateful or mean-spirited way. It's just me talking out loud and just flowing. And trust me, I have made so many friends by just having the conversation. Because I'm not that type of person to go, I'm 110% right, you're wrong. I don't do that. I'll listen to what you have to say. There's times I believe what I believe, and that's just what it's going to be. But at the end of the day, like, we can have that conversation and just be like, hey, man, you know what? Listen to If We Ran Nintendo if you don't believe that. You know how many times I come with what I believe, and then by the end of the show, I'm agreeing completely with what Sean just said, and like that's just So I just wanted to put that out there. Like I love the conversations I have on these videos. You guys are awesome. It's such a great following that Patrick has here. I'm blessed and honored to have like a presence in front of you guys for a few minutes. So thank you for that.
Likewise. Seriously.
But man, you guys are awesome, really, and I appreciate all the comments. I trust me, I do read them. I go in and I try to read all of them, and I try to reply, where I can and stuff. But like, seriously, thank you. That's all I can say. Seriously.
Keep the comments coming. On the soundtrack, the favorite soundtrack video, someone was like, "Dude, where the hell's Ocarina of Time?" And I'm like, "How did we miss that?" So I love good. Comments like.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
You just want him back.
I'm just kidding. I was only kidding. That is a great soundtrack. I'm just playing. Totally playing.
Oh man.
But yeah, I read all the comments, so appreciate it, guys. Yes. But that wraps up episode 4. Hope you're enjoying it so far, and a little milestone for us next week, episode 5, and it's gonna be. I think we're gonna plan it to be some Odyssey hype, some 3D hype. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. See you.